How to make him afraid of losing you. And no, this is not about playing games and being manipulative. This is about your energy. This is about detachment. This is about embodying self-worth in such a powerful way that a man instinctively knows if he doesn't step up, he will lose you. Now, this is the opposite energy that a lot of women that follow me, a lot of the women that I work with, and it's the opposite of how I used to be. And by this point, you guys know all about how I used to be and what a mess and what a disaster I was in the dating world. And the problem was that I was so afraid of loss. So many women are so afraid of losing the guy, of not being chosen, of not being enough. It's the opposite of what is a compelling, attractive energy. I mean, look no further than in your own life, okay? Think about the guys that you were only mildly interested in, a little bit on the fence about, or guys you were completely not interested in. With those guys, you weren't afraid of losing them, and most of the time, they're the ones that ended up being completely obsessed with you, really wanting to date you, really showing up and seeming to be capable of giving you everything that you've ever wanted, but you just couldn't get there. Like you tried, and there's a variety of reasons why this could be. Now, oftentimes it's the guys who are a little bit beyond your grasp, a little bit outside of your reach, and you feel so afraid of losing him. You're scared to have certain conversations. You're scared to text too much. You're scared to show too much interest. You're just scared. You're just operating on this wavelength of fear. You're scared of rocking the boat. You're scared that he's going to lose interest. You're scared he's going to leave you. It is the most disempowering place to be when you are living in this state of fear, where you are in this place of is he going to choose me? Is he ever going to want me as badly as I want him? This is completely backwards. This is not how it's supposed to be. Attraction cannot build from that place. A man will never come to invest in you. He will never come to really want to deepen a commitment with you when you are, for lack of a better way of putting this, when you're coming at him like a beggar. Please love me. Please validate me. Please choose me. Please pick me. Love me. Remember Meredith's speech in Grey's Anatomy? This is just not a sexy, attractive energy. It's really only when a man feels like he could potentially lose you, if he doesn't step up, if he doesn't up his game, that's when he starts chasing and pursuing. That's when he invests. That's when he commits. And it's not because you begged. It's not because you performed. It's because you had a vibe that said, I am the prize. And if you don't claim me fully, I'll walk away. I'm not afraid to walk away. I'll leave. If you don't treat me the way I know I deserve to be treated, I'll leave. I'll go. There's nothing, I could find better. The problem is a lot of us don't really feel that way about ourselves. We don't feel like we could go out there and feel better. We feel like, oh, you're the best that I can do. And if you're in that dynamic, a man will treat you anyway. He'll just treat you however. He doesn't have to step up. He doesn't have to treat you well because you're not going anywhere. And we always know when someone's not going anywhere. We can feel it. We pick up on it. So today, I'm going to walk you through the exact shifts and behaviors that will flip this dynamic and make him realize he can't afford to lose you. But I want to preface this by saying it's not about acting a certain way, it's about being a certain way. You have to embody this person. The biggest problem that I see is that a lot of the time, without even realizing it, a woman invests way too much, way too soon. So maybe a man shows a little bit of interest, or maybe they're in the early phases of dating, and suddenly she's all in. She cancels other plans. She stops dating other people. She cancels her dating apps. She emotionally commits herself to someone who hasn't committed to her. And the kicker is that he knows. He knows that she's there. He knows he can have all the perks of a relationship, the intimacy, the closeness, the emotional support, without any of the responsibility. I mean, I've been a relationship coach, writer for so long. I started doing this in 2010, and the word situationship hadn't even been invented yet. So back then, I used to call it a non-relationship. Situationship is way more creative. I should have thought of that. But I used to call it a non-relationship relationship. Now we call it a situationship. And essentially, it's that you act like a couple, but you're not a couple. So he gets to keep doing whatever he wants. He gets to enjoy that mental freedom, and men love mental freedom. A man might not necessarily want to go around and screw every woman in sight and act like a total animal, but he does enjoy knowing that he could if he wanted to. Doesn't mean he wants to, but he likes having that knowledge that if he wanted to, he could, okay? So this is the best scenario for him, right? You're waiting around hoping he chooses you. So you're on your best behavior. I mean, you're cooking his favorite meals. You are sending him the sweet texts. You are there for him whenever he needs you, all in the hopes that you'll be chosen, that he'll pick you. Meanwhile, he's enjoying your company, but there's nothing in it that's exciting for him. There's nothing in it that's causing him to say, wow, like this is a woman unlike the rest, because he can't really respect you when you're not respecting yourself, when you're acting like a doormat, when you're just putting up with whatever. And most men, and it doesn't mean that men are bad guys. I want you to get that out of your head. Are there some men who are terrible, horrible people? Yes, I've dated many of them, but most are not. Most of the time, it's just human nature. We're not going to go to a store and find something on sale and say, oh, no, like this is way too valuable. Please, I insist. I must pay you full price for this item. It's never going to happen. Never in the history of the world has that ever happened. If he's getting this amazing, cushy life because you're giving it to him and he doesn't have to do anything, then he's not going to do anything. On the other hand, if he senses that this woman has standards, this woman, if I don't step up, she'll leave. She could leave. If I don't step up and commit and lock this down, some other man might swoop right in and claim her. If a man really likes a woman, he will never, ever leave open space for that to happen. He would never risk leaving enough space. Meaning, what does that look like? It means maybe he goes days and days without texting you. Maybe this happened to one of my clients. She was on vacation with her girlfriends. She'd been dating a guy for a while. They weren't official yet, but it seemed to be heading in that direction. So she goes away with her girlfriends and she doesn't hear anything from him. He doesn't text. And she was like, well, maybe because he knew I was on vacation with my girlfriends and he was giving me that space. It's like, okay, we could go down that line of thinking, but you're with your friends. You're in Miami. You are partying it up. You don't think that if this guy really liked you, he would want to be at the forefront of your mind so that you're not going off, hooking up with some other guy, finding some other dude? If he really was like, okay, I have a gem. I need to make sure that she knows that I'm all in. Like, I don't want her losing interest. I don't want her thinking that I don't care. Like, fine, I'll give her space to be with her girlfriends, but that doesn't mean never texting you ever. That doesn't mean that you hear nothing from him. It's just sometimes when we zoom out and look at our situation from a more objective lens, we realize how the lengths we will go to in order to delude ourselves. Sometimes it's truly unbelievable. It really is how far we'll go. A guy who really likes you will not leave that open space. He just won't. If he knows you're obsessed with him, and they always know, it doesn't matter how you think you're being, they always know. If he knows that you're going to stick around no matter what, he is going to drag this out for as long as he can. But if he senses that he could lose you, then he will get his butt into gear. This is not about playing games. I can't stress this enough. This is about having boundaries. It's about valuing yourself so deeply that you refuse to settle for almost or kinda or someday. This is knowing what you want and knowing that if this person can't give it to you, you will move on to someone else who can. I know that when you are going through something like this, it could feel like the world is so unpopulated. Like it can feel like there's really no one out there. But so I just want to remind you that there are something like over 8 billion people in this world. You don't need to cling on to this man for dear life. You can find another one. You can find many, many, many other ones. This is not all there is. So now let's talk about the core principles of making him fear losing you. We're going to talk about how to actually embody that energy, how to become the kind of woman that he fears losing. Or put in another way, this is how to be that high value woman. And again, being a high value woman does not mean anything about your externals, nothing about your physical appearance, nothing about your life circumstances. A high value woman is a woman who values herself. A woman who values herself doesn't waste her time in dead-end relationships. And that is why the men who date these women have the fear of losing them, okay? So this is where we're circling back to. Number one, most important of all, you must keep your options open. If he is not your boyfriend, do not act like his girlfriend. Do not give the relationship benefits to somebody who is not in an official relationship with you. Don't emotionally attach to a fantasy. You have to see the relationship that you have, not the relationship that you want. So stay open, keep dating, keep those dating apps active. Because here's the thing, if a man feels like he has competition, then he'll step up. Now, in the episode from 2 weeks ago, where I shared with you guys how I married my ex, and you should definitely have a listen, it's probably one of my favorite and most vulnerable episodes. It was very hard for me when I started dating my ex because I had wanted him for over a decade at that point. I mean, not actively. It was more like, he was in the recesses of my mind. Then finally, we started dating. And from the beginning, our first date was 7 hours long. It was clear that something was here. But I took my own advice for once. I think where I went wrong for so many years is I didn't take the good advice that I was giving to everyone else. So finally, I decided, okay, I'm going to take my own advice here. I did not cut off any other options. I kept talking. There were some other guys I had been talking to. I always liked to have a rotation when I was dating. Like if I was dating a guy, I always had like a few backups because otherwise I would overinvest. And so this is the advice that I always give to clients and to my followers. You should, in the beginning, you should be talking to multiple guys. If it feels too emotionally exhausting for you to actually go out on the dates, fine, don't go on the dates, but still talk to them, still look around, still examine what options are out there for you. This prevents you from just going all in on someone. So with my husband, I really forced myself to mentally consider all the possible options of how things could unfold. Option A, I would end up with him. Great. That's what I've been wanting for such a long time. And that is what ended up happening, but I didn't know it at the time. Option B, there was this other guy who lived in like South Carolina or something. He was friends with my brother and he and I had been talking on the phone for a while. We had never met in person, but there was something brewing there. Then there was this other guy that like my mom had dug up from who knows where. It was just at that point where my mom was asking anyone and everyone like if they knew anyone for me. And she actually did manage to find a really qualified lead. He lived a few blocks away from me in the city, and like we were kind of coordinating time to meet up. And I had a bunch of guy friends because after the summer of me, you guys know I was Superman magnet, like all these guys were after me. And yes, I will do a full fleshed out episode on what I did that summer to transform myself so dramatically. But I kept those options open, even though they all paled in comparison to my ex, who I ended up marrying. I also mentally considered the possibility that I would be single for a while longer. And this wasn't scary to me because my life was so full and so fulfilling at this point in time. I was like, yeah, I could do this for longer. Like, this is great. I love my life as it is right now. And that's a very important place to be. We're going to talk more about that later. Okay, so what I did is what you have to do. And this is what I really encourage my clients to do. And the ones that do it and get this right, the dynamics in their relationships when they start to actually date a guy they really like are unlike anything they had ever experienced in any other relationship before. Because now they are no longer like the chaser. They are the chooser. They are choosing who to be with. Number 2 is leave him wanting more. You don't always have to text back right away. You don't always have to say yes to every plan. Sometimes we think, oh, he's going to think that I'm not interested. You don't have to be available to him 24/7. Don't just say you're busy. That's the thing. We're not playing games here. Don't just say that you're busy. Be busy. Be busy. Have a really fulfilling life. Now, look, when I say don't text back right away, I don't really want it to be a situation where like, okay, you see that he texted, you're like, okay, I'm going to put my phone away, I'm going to set a timer and then I'll text him back. I want you to genuinely be so immersed in what you have going on in your life that you're not like checking your phone every 2 seconds to see if he texted. We've all been with guys like that in situations like that. Like, how did that feel to you? It feels terrible. It feels terrible. Like, you're like, oh, was on my phone? Was on my phone? Gotta check it again. Did he text? Did he text? Did he text? That I want you to just be so absorbed in other things that it's like, oh, if he texts, great. If not, I'm not going to like fall to pieces here. When I say don't say yes to every plan, I mean, have a lot going on in your life and don't ever cancel a plan because he asked to see you. That never, never, never. He needs to learn that if I want to see her, I need to book that time in advance. She is a busy, in-demand, high-value woman. You can also end the conversations first sometimes. And with texting, here's the thing, like it can be too much. It could just border on way too much where like you're just like talking and talking. You want to leave some space to like make him wonder in between your dates. I'm not saying don't text. Yes, text, but you need to have some limits on it, especially in the beginning. Like You want him to crave you. You want him to have that desire to see you and learn more and ask more questions. So sometimes you don't need to feel like you need to overshare and over-explain in every text conversation. A little bit of mystery goes a long way. And that's what's exciting about dating. It's the discovery process. It's when each of you are your own little onions and you get to peel back the layers little by little. Number 3, we kind of touched on this a little, but have a full and beautiful life. This is not about pretending. It's about truly filling your life with things that light you up. Obsession grows in vacant space. I'm sure if you look back on your life, the periods in time where you were not able to really regulate your emotions when it came to a certain guy, it was because you didn't have much going on in your life. Go out with friends, pursue your passions, work on your goals. A woman who is fulfilled is magnetic because she's no longer trying to fill a void with a man. She's already full. Don't play hard to get, be hard to get. You be hard to get because your life is already so rich and so meaningful. And here's the thing about loving your single life. If you just create a life for yourself that is so incredible, that you're so in love with, I want you pursuing your goals, whether it's learning a new language, learning how to cook something from scratch, training for a marathon or a half marathon. Pursue something that's really meaningful to you. Really surround yourself with incredible people. And if you don't have that great circle of people, go find them. And if it's uncomfortable for you to go make new friends, do it anyway. Push yourself to get out of your comfort zone. This is how you grow, and this is how you develop your self-esteem. Really, not to sound cheesy, but fall in love with yourself. Learn what you're made of. Spend time journaling, meditating, get in really good shape. Challenge yourself to be in the best shape, to look the best you've ever looked. Focus on that. Focus on those things. And then you'll notice that you are just magnetic. Then you'll notice that people are just drawn to you in ways that you've never experienced before. Number 4, use your walking power. Walking power is one of the most powerful forms of confidence. It means knowing deep down that if a situation isn't what you want, you will walk away. No begging, no ultimatums, just clarity. This is the opposite of clinging. Most women stay in dead-end situationships or relationships because they're terrified of losing the guy. But here's the paradox. When you're not afraid of losing him, he becomes afraid of losing you. Walking power is not something that you say outright. It is not something where you're like, well, you better treat me right or I'm going to walk away. It's something that you carry internally. It is a mindset. Inside, you know, if this isn't what I want, I will leave without a fear of loss. It is not a loss to walk away from a man who can't meet your needs. It's not a loss to walk away from someone who won't even commit to you. Forget about meeting your emotional needs. He's not even fulfilling a basic one. Especially, I was just having this conversation this morning with one of my clients. She's been dating someone for 4 months and she's too scared to ask him where the relationship stands. Let me tell you something. If you're scared that having a conversation about your relationship could ruin the relationship, this is not the right relationship. It's not the right relationship. The right relationship is not made of glass. It's not something that's just going to shatter because you ask a question one day. You have every right to know what sort of relationship that you're in and what sort of commitment that you have. And if you're scared to ask the question, you really need to dig into why that is. Number 5, develop unshakable self-worth. I know, easier said than done, but it's doable. This is the work that I do. This is the work I do with my clients in my 8-week course. And it's no coincidence that the 8-week course parallels my 8-week Summer of Me transformation because I walk you through the exact process that I went through. It can be done. It can be done in a much shorter time than you realize. A man is not afraid of losing someone who needs him in order to feel okay. He's afraid of losing a woman who's already okay and she's simply choosing him. He's afraid of losing a woman who is high value, who knows her worth. Because women like that are not going to tolerate being treated like crap. Self-worth is not about never experiencing doubt. People with high self-worth also have periods of anxiety and doubt and insecurity. But it's about knowing that deep down, you will be okay no matter what. Hence the title of my podcast. Even when life or even when relationships get challenging, you trust that you'll be able to navigate, you'll be able to cope. Self-esteem is different. Self-esteem is a lot more influenced by how the outside world responds to us. So self-esteem can rise and fall with the tides of validation or rejection. Self-worth, on the other hand, remains steady and stable. It's anchored within you. It's the belief that your intrinsic value as a person doesn't depend on external approval or circumstances. And if you're someone who clings to relationships for dear life, it's because you can't regulate from within. It's because you are looking to the outside. You're looking to certain guys to validate you, to make you feel okay. Now, instead, you need to generate that from within. And you need to look at why you don't already feel that way about yourself. What happened? What happened in your life that made you feel like you weren't okay, that you weren't good enough, that you weren't lovable, that the people that you want were going to leave you? Trace it back to your earliest memory of that happening. What were the circumstances? And what was the belief that you adopted? And what would you, as your wise adult self, go back and tell that young child to enable that feeling to go away? Because here's the problem. We come to conclusions when we're very young based on things that happen either with our caregivers or with our friends or in our early relationships, and we don't challenge them. We just kind of like internalize them, and then they're with us throughout our lives, and then we don't really understand why we keep repeating the same patterns, but they're still there. So start challenging these things. Start challenging your beliefs. Start challenging the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself. Number 6, set real boundaries. This one is big. Boundaries aren't about controlling others. They are about honoring yourself. If your boundary is no last minute plans, then don't accept last minute plans. If you want a real relationship and he says he's not ready, doesn't like labels, don't stick around hoping that he changes his mind. You have to respect your own standards. Don't lower them just to cater to what someone else wants. When you enforce your boundaries, he feels a shift. And boundaries are sexy. He knows that you're not just saying it, you mean it. And that's when his respect and his fear of losing you will get real. I mean, fear of loss and respect go hand in hand. If a man doesn't respect you, he won't have that fear of loss. Well, because he knows you're not going anywhere anyway, because you don't even respect yourself. That leads us to number 7, prioritize yourself. So many women, my former self included, make the mistake of making a man their top priority. They stop doing the things that once made them magnetic in the first place. And then they wonder why the dynamic has shifted. I have one client who, she's so stunningly beautiful, so much going for her. And she was very similar to how I used to be in that she had a wall up due to things that she's been through in her life. So she would have like this guard up, but then she would be very quick to drop the guard as soon as like a certain type of guy, she had a very specific type, would show interest in her. So these guys would like chase after her, pursue her. She had even guys pursuing her for months and months. And then she would drop that guard and then she would forcefully latch on. And one by one, they would just get so freaked out. They would get freaked out. They couldn't handle it. And then they would ghost her or they would dump her. It's just not appealing to go all in so fast. It makes it seem like there is something off about you. And also it just signals that you don't value yourself, that you're too clingy, that you're too needy. And no man wants that. A man wants to feel like he has the freedom to choose you, not that he's being backed into a corner and that his choice is being stripped away from him. Keep showing up for you. Prioritize yourself. No man should ever take precedence over you. Look your best, feel your best, invest in yourself. Because when you are living in your power, you become unforgettable and absolutely magnetic. Number 8, connect to who he truly is. Now, this is the real secret sauce. This is what most women get wrong. And if you can get this right, you will be in the very rare minority. So many of us are just so consumed with ourselves, with our experience of the relationship, that we don't really take the time to connect deeply with the other person. And most men, most people in general, especially in this day and age, are starved for real, genuine connection. Not flattery or performance, genuine connection. So see the man beneath the mask. Notice what lights him up. Compliment him in ways that touch his soul. Now, this is not the same as neediness. This is establishing depth of connection. This is not, I'm going to say things to you so that you say things to me to validate me. This is, I am genuinely curious about you. I want to learn about you. I appreciate you for the person that you are. Most people, especially those with anxious attachment styles, can't do this because they're so wrapped up in the worried thoughts in their own mind. They're so wrapped up in like, am I being rejected? Am I being abandoned? Because that's their core wound, that they can't be present and form this kind of connection. Because what happens when you're in that worried state? You're engaging with the thoughts in your own mind, not with the person who's sitting right in front of you. And you just can't form a connection this way. So if you can really ask the right questions, and if you need help with this, I have a free guide with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions to ask a guide to deepen your connection. It's in the link. I'll put it in the link in my bio here, so you can grab that. It's super helpful. I started coming up with this list when I was single and dating. I'm very introverted. I hated all that like first date chit chat. And so I needed a way to like liven things up. And I also used it as me and my husband were dating. You know, after a while, it's like, okay, like we need to freshen things up. So it's great for all stages of a relationship. Really focus on seeing him in a way that no one else does. A lot of women will kind of treat a guy like he's just filling a slot, like she just wants a boyfriend and he checks enough boxes, so he'll do. A man wants to feel chosen for how amazing and valuable and incredible he is, for the man that he is. Not because you're lonely and insecure and need a boyfriend to feel better about your life. So look at him through that lens, and then you will be absolutely irreplaceable in his eyes. Here's what you need to remember. A man cannot fear losing a woman who is clinging to him for dear life. He fears losing a woman who knows her worth, who lives her life, who stays soft but never begs, who will walk away not out of anger, but out of self-respect. So if you're in a situation right now where you feel like he's pulling away or not stepping up or keeping things vague, don't try harder. Detach, lean back, reclaim your energy, and trust that the right person will rise to meet you. That is when the dynamic shifts. And that is when he realizes that you are not someone he can afford to lose. Okay, that's all I have for you today. I am just getting over being sick. I tried really hard to keep my voice not too nasal, not too scratchy. So hopefully I did a good job. I really tried. It was so hard being so sick last week, and it just gave me a newfound appreciation for health. I can't even tell you. If you like this episode, please take a second to rate and review the show. It really helps. It really helps me spread the message. Also, please make sure to share it with a friend who probably needs to hear it. I feel like we all have a few. Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified, and I will see you next time.